As we came out here to tame this land, we knew that we wanted to be modern homesteaders, which means we've got power that we don't have to worry about, water, and internet. So today we're going to talk about off-grid internet solutions, kind of where we're at, where we hope to be. And maybe some of you in the comments can help us out because I am not an IT professional. I'm just doing what I think is going to work. Let's take a look at what we've got. The heart of our system is the Starlink satellite dish, which we have been very happy with the service it provides. The only thing it doesn't have is Wi-Fi that will cover the property. So now let's go in and let's talk about how we're getting Wi-Fi everywhere we need it. So from the satellite dish, the cable comes to the Starlink router, which we have up here in the trusses. So now we're here in the loft of the shop. We talked about how the Starlink Wi-Fi, as it stands, isn't robust enough to cover the entire property. Plus, we've got metal buildings where it's hard to penetrate, so we knew we were going to have to do some sort of access point and hardwired system on the property. So to start that, we have the Ethernet connection, which is a jumper that goes between the satellite dish and the Starlink router. So in order to use a third-party system with the Starlink router, we had to turn off Starlink's Wi-Fi. Then we have our TP-Link router here, which provides Wi-Fi here in the building, as well as it has a switch where we can send cabled Wi-Fi over to the house and anywhere else we need it. So here we are in the powerhouse where we have another TP-Link switch. We have an Ethernet cable that goes underground all the way from the shop to the house, comes into this switch where we are able to send an Ethernet cable into the office where we can have our computer hardwired in, as well as it goes to another access point that's inside the house. So we have a pretty robust inside Wi-Fi signal. What we don't have is Wi-Fi when we're out here on the property. Up here we have to use Wi-Fi for our phone calling, and so we need to have good coverage around so we're able to be reached and reach other people. So what we have now is an outside access point, which is supposed to broadcast in the area, but it doesn't do the best job, and so we're going to try something new today. Our friends over at WAVLINK sent us out this AX3000 outdoor Wi-Fi access point. The AX3000 can work in 4 different modes. It can work as just an access point, it can work in mesh mode, it can work in repeater mode, and it can work as an access point and repeater mode. So the access point and repeater mode is the mode that we're going to try out today and see how robust it is. We're going to go ahead and replace our outdoor access point with the new WAVLINK AX3000. So before we get started, let's see what comes in the box. So in the box we have our WAVLINK access point. Comes with 4 antennas, 2 2.4 gigahertz and 2 5 gigahertz antennas. Very nice PoE injector. Little network cable, power cord for the PoE, and some mounting hardware. So one thing I noticed is that these antennas say 2.4 and 5G on them. So you want to make sure that you get them installed in the right location. Well, already this looks more impressive than the outdoor access point that we currently use. But before we install it, let's go up to the kids' home site and see what we're currently getting as far as a speed test. So here we are up at Madeline's home site. We're about 300 feet away from the house. Let's see if we have Wi-Fi signal from our existing outdoor Wi-Fi extender. So we couldn't get any Wi-Fi signal up at Madeline's home site, so we walked about halfway down, and even here, we're still not able to connect to the outdoor access point. That's horrible. That's why we're trying something new. Got my little ladder. Well, first thing we'll do is we'll take off the old access point. Put our little weatherproof guy on there. Nice little split there. All right, snug that up a little bit. All right. We'll just go ahead and leave that setting there while we configure it. Once it's configured, then we will mount it to the post. Okay, so we've got our power over internet injector plugged in there. We'll go ahead and plug that in. And now we'll go configure the access point. So like I said, I am not an IT professional. And so programming this access point proved to be pretty challenging, but we learned a lot. So now we'll show you how we programmed the repeater. So I'm logged into the WaveLink and I'm going to set this up as a repeater. So I'm going to go switch mode, change it from access point mode, which it comes standard. I'm going to switch it to repeater mode and apply. I'm going to select my country, United States, time zone, Pacific time. I'll set my password. So we have our admin password put in. Go next. Now it's going to search for available Wi-Fi networks. So I'm going to choose the Wi-Fi network that I want to extend. And then hit next. So now the target network that we're extending, we'll put in the password for that. Then what we're going to do, we're going to have this extender name, so we'll just leave it Stewart Extend 2.4, Stewart Extend 5G, and we'll enter the passwords that we want for those two networks. So now we have our passwords entered for the extender, and we will just hit save. Okay, so with that, we have our WaveLink access point all configured. We also have our WaveLink access point configured in repeater mode. What that means is that the access point is actually hardwired into our network, and it is going to broadcast a signal that the repeater is going to collect and then rebroadcast, giving us a much wider range of coverage. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to hop in the side-by-side and see how far away we can go. So right here, we're up between Evan and Madeline's home sites. Our access point is all the way down on the house, and we're still getting 300 download. So now let's go ahead and fire up the extender and see how far we can get away from the extender and what we're getting. We'll switch from Stewart to the Stewart Extender 5G. And now we'll do a speed test. All right, so we got 82 down and 21 up. So it makes sense that we're going to lose some speed through translation between the broadcast from the access point to the receiving and rebroadcasting from the router. But let's see what kind of range we gained with the repeater. So we'll go for a little walk into the woods and see what we get. So we've come about another 100 feet up from the side-by-side. We'll go ahead and do another speed test and see what we've got up here. So here, about 100 feet from the repeater, we got 102 down and 26 up. Let's go into the woods a little bit further. So now we're 200 feet away from the repeater and I'm getting 95 down, 17 up. So up here, we're getting 40 down and 14 up. All right, well, I think that was a successful test. So to review the test, we're about 300 feet from the access point, and we were getting 290 megabits per second download speed at this point. We could have gone further away, but this has got a good line of sight to the access point. We definitely found that these access points and repeaters do their best line of sight. Of course, a tree and a wall and a roof are going to cause havoc with how much distance you can get. So these are the results that we are getting, and your results may vary. So from this repeater, we were able to go to the tree line, which is about 150 feet away, and then another 150 feet into the trees before our Wi-Fi speed started really dropping off. So when we were 300 feet away from this repeater in the trees is when we started getting speeds around 5 to 10 megabits per second downloads. So that's the extreme obstructions as well as distance from this repeater. So assuming that we could do a radius from this repeater of 300 feet, that's pretty good. That's the down and dirty of how we get access to internet here on our off-grid property. I have been very impressed with the WAVLINK access point and repeater. Programming's a little tricky. If you've got any amount of IT training more than me, which is none, you could probably program it a lot easier, especially if you've done these access points before. But their customer service is good and they can help you walk your way through the programming of these access points. Once again, we'd like to thank WAVLINK for sending out these 2 access points for us to test here on our property. They are going to make a wonderful addition to making our Wi-Fi network on this property very robust. If you'd like to check one out for yourself, click the link in the description below and check those out. Again, thanks for coming along, and we will see you on the next one.